Are you embarrassed to be in a therapeutic relationship? Or are you in a therapeutic relationship and you haven't told certain people in your life? It's an interesting question. I know I've always been very open about the fact that I was in therapy. I started at the age of 26. And in fact, I would have started much sooner, but I wasn't sure where to turn to. And I know when I was a teenager, in the community upon which I was raised, it really wasn't something that people talked about at the time, nor did I feel it was easily accessible. The only kind of therapy I could have probably grabbed easily would have been with a guidance counselor, which at the time, it was just kind of unheard of. And also, I think sometimes we feel we have this image or reputation to uphold, that we're, afraid to let people know about our vulnerabilities and some of the problems we may be having. We're trying to remove the stigma of mental health, but my gosh, it's very hard. We may accept other people for having mental health issues, but we don't really allow ourselves the same sort of grace and compassion. I think, in my opinion, therapeutic relationship can be used consistently throughout your life or off and on throughout your life. There are many challenges that come our way, and depending on how deep you want to go into your psyche, for example, something like Jungian psychology, which is obviously diving very deep, you may want to just check in with a counselor to do some solution-focused therapy or something that's a little bit faster. I was looking recently online about, was it rapid transformational therapy? It's kind of, let me see here. What's her name? Marissa Peer. Anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. It's a bit of a practice where it's supposed to heal you a lot quicker than perhaps long-term therapy. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, who knows. Certainly worth exploring. And as a therapist, it's really good to have an arsenal of theoretical orientations in your mind and tactics in your back pocket. But for me, at the end of the day, it's about a very humanist approach and unconditional positive regard. I wanted to share something with you from the road less traveled, a family favorite for us growing up, or maybe a little bit towards, as far as my sisters and I are concerned, our early 20s. But this book has my mother's name on it, so I obviously stole it from her, sorry. She watches these videos sometimes. But I wanted to read a little bit about the therapeutic relationship from M. Scott Peck. Great book, great book. Genuine psychotherapy is a legitimate shortcut to personal growth, which is often ignored. One of the most frequent rationalizations for ignoring it is to question its legitimacy by saying, I'm afraid that psychotherapy would get to be a crutch. I don't want to become dependent on a crutch. But this is usually a cover-up for more significant fears. The use of psychotherapy is no more a crutch than the use of hammer and nails to build a house. It is possible to build a house without hammer and nails, but the process is generally not efficient or desirable. Few carpenters will despair of their dependency on hammer and nails. Similarly, it is possible to achieve personal growth without employing psychotherapy, but often the task is unnecessarily tedious, lengthy, and difficult. It generally makes sense to utilize available tools as a shortcut. Food for thought. Love to hear if you are in a therapeutic relationship or if it's something that maybe you are a little embarrassed about. I know I was told by a psychiatrist friend that I shouldn't talk about my experiences in therapy within the psychiatric community, that it wouldn't be respected and that I wouldn't be looked upon as a professional. Maybe that's true in the psychiatric field, I don't know. It's not how I feel though. I'm very proud to let people know that I invested in my mental health and my spiritual evolution. A lot of the money I had when I was young was put into therapy, and maybe I don't have the nest egg I might have had if I didn't spend so much money on that, but I feel like it was life-saving. So love and support you on your journey. Take good care, and I'd love to hear from you about your therapy. See ya.